A quick video to familiarize you with the assignment of writing a 10-minute play and give you some quick tips about what makes a good 10-minute play, what the 10-minute play format is good for, and how 10-minute plays are different from 10-minute films or films in general. So looking at the assignment really quickly, you're going to write a 10-minute play. You're going to submit it by clicking on the title, which opens an assignment page. Here you can browse your computer and attach the file, or if you absolutely can't do that, you could always just paste it right in there. Within this assignment page, you can click on this link, which is important material about how to write a 10-minute play. Okay. You can also click on this PDF, which is an example play we're actually going to go over in this video. That is the format that we're looking to use. And this video, which is extremely helpful in writing a play script. The nuts and bolts of this particular assignment include, as I said, uploading this play to the assignment area by the deadline listed in the course schedule. The play is one page of dialogue usually equals 1 minute, so you'll have about a page of like a title page with your name on it. Then you'll have the character list, the description of where the settings are, or setting. There should probably only be one. And then anywhere from 9 to, say, 13 pages of written dialogue. Your play needs to be something that can be staged, not filmed. Multiple short scenes, extreme special effects, extras, many characters. All these things are not things that work well on stage in short plays, because every time you change locations, you would need to talk about or show this new location. So those kinds of scene changes and things in 10-minute play end up meaning that the play is more scene changes than it is play. The play must be in play format, which is demonstrated in those links I just showed you. If the audience doesn't hear a character talk about something in a play, they generally don't know anything about it. So visuals are less important than what is said and heard. A play is 80% audio, 20% visual, whereas a film is 80% visual, 20% audio. So let's maybe start off by taking a look at what a film script looks like, so we know some of the things that we can look to that show some of the big differences, since most of you are more familiar with film and television than you are with plays, although some of you may be very familiar with plays. A film script usually has a header that tells us where the location is and where we are in the timeline of the film. Then we have a description of what is happening. Then we have the character who is speaking, maybe a parenthetical note about what is going on with that person. Say sometimes it's an emotional note. I'm not seeing any great emotional note there. Or a little minor action note, and then you will have their dialogue. Okay? In between their dialogue, you'll have these, not in parenthetical, that says what is going on. Jack's furious. He grabs a rope from the deck locker and starts wrapping it around them both. Okay? All right. Also, you might have filming description. See you as close up, Jack at the wheel next to Vincent. Full shot. Okay? Etc. And then we'd move on to in this case, it's a back to, which just tells us we're going back to a scene we were already in, so you wouldn't have a full shot description there. Right? This is actually a series of intercuts, so they have abbreviated scene headers. Here's a full header. Okay? to give you an example of what that looks like. A play is laid out very differently. First of all, you're going to have a lead page, your basic information. This generally is on the next page. The cast of characters is formatting is slipped up a little bit. You'll have the two names of the characters involved, brief descriptions of who, what kind of people they are, place, time. One act plays, 10-minute plays are 1 act long. They may have multiple scenes, although that's not advisable in a short 10-minute play, but they will only have 1 act. You'll then have what we call stage directions. Stage directions in a play must be something that is something the audience can realize on the stage. If you put it in the stage directions, it has to be something that the audience can either see, hear, or watch realized between the characters, action realized between the characters. When you put in things like time of day, location, it needs to somehow be translated into dialogue or something that someone can visually see. The audience will not be reading this, so they cannot know anything that's in the stage directions unless it's realized on the stage. So in this example, these two characters, Lane and Parker, are clinging to 2 dilapidated ficuses, which are a kind of tree, in pots on top of separate blocks. 2 chalk lines are etched horizontally across the base of the blocks just above the pile of empty recyclable plastic bottles. All of these things are visually seen. Even this stage direction, an unforeseen force shoves a pile of empty bottles toward the blocks, causing the pile to rise closer to the top of the lines. That could just be a hand from off stage. It could be something mechanical in the sense of like a little plow that's coming across. Anything that constitutes an unforeseen force. Here then we see, not dissimilar to what is screenplay format, all caps character name, upper and lower dialogue, spacing, okay? Here we have parenthetic, a quality being inserted, an emotional quality, optimistically, and then the dialogue, okay? Pauses, stage directions are just further left indented. They don't need to be in italics. They don't need to be bold. They don't need to have quotation marks around them. Now, one of the important things that you'll see when you look at this example is that it is one location and it is a complete narrative. One thing that happens in real time in 10 minutes between these characters. There are no jumps of other scenes, etc. That's not to say that you cannot have multiple scenes in a 10-minute play, but if you ever were to submit this 10-minute play for a festival, a theater festival, if it's multiple scenes, it almost certainly will not be considered. Most successful 10-minute plays are one continuous sequence of action. Now, they might be less than realistic. They could be even expressionistic. They could even be dance-driven along with other things, but they are not going to have scene breaks, blackouts in the middle of them. The other element is, every time you add another character, we have to know who that person is in relationship to everyone else, and we don't have a lot of time to do that in a 10-minute sequence. So, less characters is better. The format of a 10-minute play lends itself best to internal and personal conflict, something that I've talked about in the story structure lectures that you're taking a look at and listening to. Internal and personal conflict means conflict within oneself, something that a character is struggling with within themselves, or a conflict, personal conflict, a conflict that they are having with another person who is known to them and have a personal relationship with. External conflict is between a person and someone they don't know, what entity we don't know as the audience, maybe just murderer or big politician or evil corporate genius, whatever. Those people aren't personal, they're just a general external force. It also would be an external force like a hurricane, a war, a economic crisis. Those things are external forces. Those lend themselves more to larger narratives and to films than they do to plays, and particularly to short plays. So try to contain the action to a small number of people, contiguous action, one scene, one act, obviously, and something that we can see done on stage, a snippet, and it doesn't have to have a clear resolution. It could be something that leads up to a larger narrative or is the result of a larger narrative that happened before, and we're just looking at this one little tiny microcosm of it. Focus in, find that little moment to share in the 10-minute play, and try to just let the audience fill in the blanks on the rest of it. Good luck.